If you don't change your self-image about what is available for you, what you think is possible for you, you'll always diminish what you claim as your desires. Hello. Amira Alvarez here, founder and CEO, The Unstoppable Woman. And thank you so much for tuning in to the podcast. Lovely to have you here. It's great that you are part of the Unstoppable Woman community. And if this is your first time here, please subscribe, give us a like, give us a review on iTunes. That helps. Let us know that you are enjoying the podcast and getting a lot out of it, and helps more people find it as well. So let's dive into the topic for today, which is that you need a great plan to scale your business. Without a great plan, you will be going in circles, if you will. You'll be going this way and then that way. You'll be thrown asunder. You will be very reactive. You will be just reacting to what's in front of you and bouncing around like a pinball in a pinball machine. Like, okay, well, this came at me. I need to respond like this. This came at me. I need to react like this. And it's not an effective way of actually scaling and scaling quickly. However, in order to really build a great plan, you have to have a great vision. So I want to help you today with building that vision and what I do to iterate on it. And I call this my cyclical visioning process. And we're going to get into that in just a moment. But you need to understand here that reactivity is one side of the planning continuum, which is very little planning and just being super, super reactive. And the other side is being extraordinarily rigid. And that's the over planning. That's not course correcting when you get new information. That's not responding in an agile way with excellence when new information comes your way. So you want to be able to do both. And I know that this cyclical visioning process is something that allows me to do that, and something that you can use for the big planning, but also for what happens when something new comes your way and you need to course correct. So keep in mind that you can use it for both of those things. The first thing that you want to look at when you're doing your visioning in order to create your plan is to know what you want. This is something that I teach all the time. You may, if you've been listening to me for a while, you may have heard this already. Okay. It's because it's true. And you really, really need this dialed in. So the first thing is desire. Desire is causative. What do you want? So critical. What do you want? You have to know where you're going in order to create a plan. And if you are saying that your destination is not a true desire, is not something that you really want, you won't really activate a solid plan for yourself. In other words, it can't be your parents' destination. It can't be what you think your husband or your wife thinks is the best destination for you. It can't be what is a small version of what you want, but not really what you want. It has to be what you truly desire. Okay. So this is so important. True desire is causative. True desire is spirit, source, infinite intelligence speaking to you, saying, go in this direction. It might be scary. There might be mountains to climb. There might be hurdles to go over, but go in this direction. And you will live into your purpose. Okay. You will not just live into your purpose, but if you do it with a great strategy, you'll also make money. Okay. And that's where I can help you. And so keep listening here. Okay. So the next layer to this is that most people don't really know how to claim their desires because it was unsafe to ask for what you wanted when you were a small young thing, a child. It became someplace where you either experienced actual pain or rejection or disappointment. You asked for the new pair of shoes, or you asked for something that you really wanted to eat for dinner, or you asked for some big thing or some small thing. Maybe it was just attention, right? And you didn't get it. You were rejected by your parents, maybe for very good reasons. They were busy living their life, doing their things. Maybe they didn't have the money. Maybe it wasn't about you. All sorts of reasons could be legitimately there for why you were told no, that you can't have what you want. But now it's gotten mapped in your subconscious, programming, in your beliefs about yourself and the way that the world works, is that it's dangerous to ask for what you want, and you aren't allowed to ask for what you want, or that you're not someone who actually deserves to get what she wants, or someone who gets what she wants, or someone who's worthy of having what she wants. All of these are obviously limiting beliefs. All of these are ways in which you are diminishing yourself, but your self-image was built when you were very young, under the age of roughly 9. It was really programmed into you what you thought about yourself. And so oftentimes that limits your ability to really claim your big desires. So just know that. This is one of the things that we work on in the Spirit of Wealth Mastermind and Masterclass. You guys have heard me mention this before. We're enrolling now. So if this is of interest to you, it's for driven women entrepreneurs who really want to take their business to the next level. And they are tired of hitting a wall, right? And they want the ways to make it easier. And we work on the inner game piece so that the outer game piece is so much easier to execute on. Will there be challenges still? Of course, there's always mountains to climb. There's always growth to be experienced, obviously, but this will help you change your self-image so that you make that so much easier. So if you're interested in that, we're enrolling now. There are a few spots left. We start in January. This is perfect for the person who wants to really execute on their plans. Go to theunstoppablewoman.com. So that's our website, theunstoppablewoman.com/spirit, and you can learn all about it and have a conversation with us to see if it's the right fit for you. Hey, Amira here with a quick announcement for you. We are super excited to be offering our community a new training. It's a 60-minute deep dive into the 5 critical components required to make a quantum leap and master money and master scale. So in this training, we are going to be covering how to raise your internal set point for success and for income generation, both for yourself and your business, and how to increase your focus and accountability on a daily basis so you keep your word and you don't end up disappointing yourself not doing what you said you were going to do. This is one of the key components to moving the needle in your business and creating more income and revenue. Okay. And then we're going to be talking about how to fast track your innate ability to think like a successful entrepreneur. So that plus several other things, we are going to be deep diving for 60 minutes, and I cannot wait for you to join me. So please register for this special training at theunstoppablewoman.com/money, and I'll see you there. Okay. So if you don't change your self-image about what is available for you, what you think is possible for you, you'll always diminish what you claim as your desire. So just know that. But the second part of this is that if you don't claim what you want, it's not a clear direction, right? We can't set a plan to that direction. But also, the second place that people self-sabotage is that they're not clear about what they actually want. So they've said, I want to make more money, but they don't say exactly how much. Or they say that they want to feel better, or they want to be less stressed, or they want to have more downtime. All of this is great and is it's like the beginning. But if you don't get clarity on what that actually means for you, then it becomes challenging. It's like abdicating responsibility. You're saying the universe should just understand what that is. And in fact, if you want to bring this to science and biology, it's saying that the reticular activating system should just know what you want. Now, the reticular activating system is a part of your brain that is designed, once you give it direction, once you say, look for the green cars, or look for the clients, or look for the opportunities, or look for the networking events, or look for the stage opportunities, right? You're a speaker and you want to go on stage, or look for the partnerships, whatever it is that you're going for in your plan. Once you give it that clear direction, it starts hunting and pecking, and like a chicken, right? Like hunting and pecking and pulling the grains out of the ground. The grains are all there, but you have to sift through it. Okay. It starts looking for that in your existing experience, but it can't do that if you're not clear. So these cyclical visioning questions that I'm about to dive into with you will help you with that level of clarity. So, this is how we're going to do it. So the next thing is that you have to understand that it's not just one question that you ask yourself to get clear. It's a cycle of questions. Okay. So I'm going to give you several generic examples, and then I'm going to give you some specific examples as well. So, classic example. What do you want? Okay. That's question one. What do you want? And sometimes you have a good idea and sometimes you don't. Then you ask yourself the flip question. What do I not want? What am I unavailable for? What is it that I'm experiencing that I don't want? And then the third question is, what's the solution to what you don't want? What would you do to solve for that? Okay. And then you iterate as necessary. Okay. So what do I want? What do I not want? And then what would I need to do to solve for that? I'm going to give you some examples in a moment, but these are the classic questions, and then you iterate on that. Okay. You cycle through it again. So another version is, what's working, what's not working, and what would you do to solve for what's not working? Okay. And again, iteration. What's good? What's not good? What would you need to solve for that? Okay. This is how you set your vision. Like, what's good now? What's really working in my business right now? What's not really working in my business right now? What's not good? And what would I need to do to solve for that? Okay. Keep expanding what's good, but solve for what's not working. And then you're going to iterate on that. So you get a solution. And then what could you do next, right? What works about that? What do I like about that solution? What don't I like about that solution? How could I solve for that? Okay. And that's what I mean by the iteration. What do I like? What don't I like? Okay. What's the solution for what I don't like? Okay. And then you solve for that. You iterate. Okay. And then once you do this visioning, the cyclical visioning process, then you can create a plan. Right? Then you can go, okay, now I know all these components that I've solved for. And then I can be like, okay, first I need to do this, then I need to do this, then I need to do this, I need this, and I need this, and I need this to execute on that, right? Then you can create a really good plan once you have the vision. Okay. So the basic concept is the thing that's working, what the positive thing, what I want, what's already working, what's good, what's not good, what's not working, what don't I want, and then solving for that in those solutions. What do I like? What don't I like? And solving for that. And you iterate on that. Okay. So a few specific questions that you can ask yourself and use in your business to really get super, super clear, so that you're not abdicating responsibility for the destination, for the direction that you're going, for the plan, really. So how do you want to spend your time? That's such a good one. Okay. So how do you want to spend your time? That's a great question to ask. And maybe you need some more clarity on this. So you dive in a little bit more, like, and you ask yourself, well, what do I like spending my time on? What is working? What do I want to do more of? And then what do I not like spending my time on? What's frustrating? Okay. And then you think about, how would I solve for that? So maybe it's better systems. Maybe it's, the time blocking that you need to do on your calendar. Maybe it's working with your team differently. Maybe it's delegating. Maybe it's hiring more team. Okay. There's all sorts of things that you could do differently. Maybe it's a different org structure, or hiring a manager. Maybe it's eliminating certain projects. That's always like a really, like, you've just been doing things for a long time, but you don't need to do that in your business anymore. It's not effective. Like 20% of your business comes from a certain type of activity, but the rest of the 80% isn't that effective. Well, maybe you need to let go of that and just focus on that top 20. Okay. So then you iterate on it. So when you think about, let's say your solution is letting go of a particular process that you run in your business. What do you like about that? What don't you like about that? What would need to be solved for in that? Okay. And that's how you can take your vision into a really good plan. Okay. Next up, maybe you ask yourself, how do you want to feel? Okay. You have this business. You're in business for yourself because you desired some sort of freedom. You wanted to feel some way. How do you want to feel on the daily? Okay. How do you want to feel? And sometimes you don't know how you want to feel. So then you ask yourself, well, how do I not want to feel? Now, if you know how you want to feel, write that down. Okay. But you might also ask yourself, how do I not want to feel? And you want to do both, because it'll give you different kinds of clarity. And then if, let's say, you don't want to feel overwhelmed or frustrated or irritated or in victim mentality or blaming other people or small or insecure, all of these things, you don't want to feel overwhelmed and burning out, right? Well, then what would you need to do to solve for that? Okay. How could you create more of what you want to feel and less of what you don't want to feel? Okay. And that might be many of the same things that we talked about, but also, like, if it's overwhelmed that you're feeling, maybe you need to adjust the way you approach projects. Maybe you need to do more planning. Maybe you need to hire a project manager. Maybe you need to work your calendar in a particular way. And you come up with these different ideas of how you might solve that. And then you ask, well, what do I like about that? What don't I like about that? And you narrow it down into something that works for you. So this is the cyclical visioning and planning process. The other thing that you can do this with is your growth plan for the actual money stuff. Okay. So you ask yourself, well, what do I want? I want to make X amount of revenue this year. Fantastic. 2022 is coming up. Let's do it. Okay. Like, I'm all about those big, juicy goals and helping you get there. So let's claim that big goal. That's what I want. Now, what in your business plan is not working to get you there? What's capping that income? What's the constraint? Something is constraining you. And then how do you solve for that? Okay. How do you solve for that constraint? How do you solve for what's capping you? And what happens for most people is their self-image says, there's the solution, but you can't do that. That's not available for you because you don't have the time. You don't have the money. You don't have the support. You can't. Okay. When you say you can't, you must. I got that from Tony Robbins. It's such a clever little pithy saying, but it's so true. It helps you break through, but you don't have to do it in a way that you hate. You can do it in a way that you love. So what would work here? And you go through these questions and you cycle. Okay. It's an iterative process. It's a cyclical visioning and planning process. So again, you ask yourself what you want. You ask yourself what's not working. Okay. And then you ask yourself, how can you solve for that? And then you cycle again. Well, what do I like about that? What do I not like about that? How would I solve for that? Right. And you do this again and again and again until you get super, super clear. And then you practically add a plan already. And it's super easy just to connect the dots. Okay, so that is the cyclical visioning and planning process. I hope you got a ton out of that. If you want a special download that we put together with all these questions mapped out for you so that you have them to refer to and you can ask them for yourself, like a little mini visioning and planning process, we have a special download for you. And you go to, it's totally free. Go to theunstoppablewoman.com/E265. So that's E for episode 265. And you can download the download that we have for you, the PDF that has all the questions in there. And rock it out, be unstoppable, and I'll catch you in the next episode. Take care. Bye. Hey, thanks so much for joining us and being part of the Unstoppable Woman movement. We have got a ton of free resources for scaling your business at theunstoppablewoman.com/free stuff. And you can find that link in the description below. So go ahead and check those out. And we'd also love your help in getting our message out to more and more women. If you'd be willing to share this video with all the unstoppable women in your life, that would be fantastic. And while you're at it, hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode. Reviews, likes, and comments are greatly appreciated. We go in and read them all. So thank you for those. And thanks for listening, and be unstoppable.